Hi everyone, my name's Tamsin and I run the Medic to Medic charity, which is a UK-based charity supporting trainee health workers in Malawi. Now the way we work is that we provide scholarships to students who are in financial hardship or they are socially disadvantaged, and we support them by providing them with tuition fees until they graduate, provide them with a medical equipment pack, a laptop, medical books, and a twice yearly allowance, so that they have everything that they need to reach their full potential and graduate and qualify as health workers in Malawi. So we target the students most at risk of dropping out of their training due to their backgrounds. So that's namely young people from orphan or single parent families with non-professional parents from rural areas, since we know that these students are actually the ones who are most likely to stay in Malawi, work in rural areas where there is minimal access to healthcare. Yet we know that these students are more at risk because of their backgrounds. We also have a preference to support female students because we know that women are more vulnerable in developing countries compared to their male counterparts. So that's a little bit about us and what we do. We've been working in Malawi since 2007. We initially just started supporting medical students, but over the last 12 to 13 years we've grown substantially, and we now support physiotherapists, pharmacists, mental health workers, nurse midwives, clinical officers, and optometrists in Malawi. We've got 60 students in training this year, and we've got over 120 students in our alumni community, which is just great, and we've grown so much. The students are all incredibly deserving young people, and we know that they're all going to make a difference wherever they end up working. So because we have been working in Malawi for some time and built up a relationship with the universities where we have students, we've wanted to set up an elective exchange program for a few years, but unfortunately due to manpower haven't been able to get it off the ground. However, we feel that 2020 is the year to get our elective program up and running, and we are really looking forward to hopefully working with some of you to do this. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about what that elective option in Malawi might look like, and if any of you are interested in taking that further forward, then we'd obviously really love to hear from you. Now, it's important that you're aware first up that you would be our first group of students going, and with that in mind, we know that some of the processes that are needed to make sure that it runs smoothly might not be in place just yet. So obviously we would love your feedback and about what worked well and what didn't work well, what you enjoyed and what you didn't enjoy, and what could be improved upon. And we hope that even if those processes aren't up and running and super smooth, that we are still going to be able to get an awesome elective program up and running for you. So the idea would be that you would travel out to Malawi. We would arrange transfer from Lilongwe, the capital city, up to Mzuzu, which is in the north of the country, where we work at two universities. The university that you would be placed with is called St John of God College, and this is where our students training in mental health study. The college also trains nursing diploma students, psychosocial counselling students, as well as upgrading clinical officers and nurses training in mental health. So the idea would be that you would have a 1 to 2 week classroom time overlapping with their students there, and then for the next 4 to 5 weeks go to Mzuzu Central Hospital, which is one of the main the main hospital in the northern region, and gets referral cases from missionary hospitals and other primary health clinics in the region. So in terms of accommodation, there would be two options. One, you would either stay in the college guest house, or two, you would stay with the students in the student accommodation. And we've got photos of both of those so that we can share and show you what the options are. Now, in terms of advantages, the advantage of the guest house, it comes with bed and breakfast, and it is also very close to the college and close to the local markets, so you can buy your own lunches, dinners, and prepare them in the guest house. In terms of the student accommodation, it's much the same in terms of facilities, but the idea is if you're in the student accommodation, you'll have more opportunities to mix with the Malawian students and make friends and form friendships, which would be really beneficial in terms of your experiences. Now, in terms of our community up there, so we've obviously got students training at St John of God, but we've also got a lot of our graduates based in Mzuzu who are all, who all would be really excited to meet you and would be a great point of contact for advice, showing you around the city, what to do at weekends, learning more about what they do, etc. Now, Malawi is a beautiful country. It is widely regarded by many as the warm heart of Africa, and on all of our years visiting and being in the country, we haven't, I'm tempting fate now, but haven't had any issues in terms of safety. We've always felt very safe and found it very easy to travel throughout the country. So in terms of costs, we're hoping that we could provide a 6-week elective program, including accommodation, registration at the Nursing Council, registration at the college and hospital, so including your accommodation, and internal travel within Malawi, so transport from the Lilongwe to Mzuzu and back again for your flights, for £1,200. Now, if you wanted us to book your international flight, then we could definitely do that for you. Obviously, we'd need all your personal information in order to make the booking, but this would be probably in the region of £2,000. So the things that those figures wouldn't include would be your pre-travel health consultation, so you may need some vaccinations, you're going to need anti-malarials to go, you're going to need your own personal travel insurance, which would include medical evacuation on top of that, and obviously you'd need spending money if you wanted to do any sightseeing or anything like that. In terms of sightseeing, there's quite a few options within northern Malawi. So you have Lake Malawi, which is absolutely beautiful, and Nakata Bay is very close to Mzuzu and is one of the main sites on the lake to go to. You've also got Lakoma Island, which can be accessed from Nakata Bay by boat. We've actually never been there because timings have never worked out, but we hear that it's an absolutely special place. And you've also got other sites in the northern region, like Nikia National Park and Livingstonia, which is quite a historic area. If you had the time, then there's lots to do down south as well. You've got Mount Mulanje, Cape Maclear, Lawande National Park, and lots of other areas in between. So there's definitely lots of options for travelling. Now, included in that price is a donation or contribution towards Medic to Medic and our work in Malawi, which goes directly to our students and will really help us fundraise some money for the students and help continue our sponsorship and scholarship program. So I think that's everything I need to tell you about. If you do have any questions that you wanted to ask, then please feel free to reach out to me directly. You can look us up on our website, which is medics2medic.org.uk. We've also got a very active Facebook page, so you can message us on there as well. The university also has my personal contact details, so feel free to ask for those as well. If this is of interest to you, please drop me an email so that we can start bringing this forward. And if you have any questions, obviously feel free to reach out to me as well. Just as an end note, I'm sure some of you are planning to go to Africa anyway. I'm sure you're all going to have an amazing time, but just to say, take Africa on her own terms. No matter how much you plan, sometimes things don't always go as you expect them to, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be frustrating in between times when it's not what you expect. But if you don't go with any preconceived ideas, you'll end up having a great time. Alright, thanks very much. Feel free to reach out to me if you'd like to. All the best.